I heard a lot of people just kind of ignored it because they didn't know what to do. So at the end of the session today, I do have a sign-up sheet. I can get contact information from you, and we can get your account set up with the correct one that you want. And Katie and will kind of be discussing what you're going to get with that account. So. Good morning. What's up, friend? There's quite a few coming up. You fuzzy. Yes, ma'am. Hi. Okay, Kaylee goes. Yes, it's 100,000 jobs. Awesome. Where you're talking about people moving and Josh is doing part of what she was doing. I'm so innocent because I don't think there's so few people do it. Yeah. That, and you can change your mind after you see it. Well, we discussed so that we have both. All right, Katie, and we're going to go ahead and get started. So let me introduce. My name is Amber McCormick. I am a K-5 global studies teacher. I also teach 6th grade digital media creations. And next year I'm starting a robotics class, which is terrifying and exciting for 7th grade. I am a Florida teacher. I live closer to Orlando than I do Tampa, in Davenport, Florida. And my co-host here, who will be doing most of the talking, this is Katie Ann Wilson. For those of you that are familiar with anything augmented reality, this is the lady that you need to know. I put her contact information on the board. On Twitter, she is @KatieAnn_76. Anything and everything that you have questions about with augmented reality, she is your go-to gal. So she's kind of been my mentor. I met her last year at ST4T, and it was kind of a game changer for me. So I also have up some information. We do a every Thursday chat. The chat is #AR for learning. And every week we kind of discuss a different topic that has to do with augmented reality. So we will do like a math chat, we will do social studies, science, so lots of different topics happening, and it is 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. For those of you that are from my time zone, that's 9. It took me a while to get used to that. So Katie Ann, I'm going to turn it over to you.
Awesome. Is there any way you could turn the computer so I can see the audience?
Gosh, needy.
I know.
How about you just look at my shirt? That's cute.
Well, I'm looking at that.
You don't like my bag? It's really cute. All right, can you see them?
I can now.
You got some folks in the room. Did you think you were teaching to an empty room?
You never know. Okay, well, like Amber said, I am Katie Ann Wilson. I am a computer science teacher, and I teach middle school tech classes and STEM classes. And I hear an echo, so if I pause, I'm just waiting for my echo to go away. We will be talking about augmented reality and how to use it. You are receiving a license for OgThat to get either 360 augmented triggers or 3D augmented triggers. And I am going to show you some lessons that I've created to use these triggers. Are you ready?
Woohoo! All right, we gotta wake them up, Katie, and I think they're sleeping.
Should be sleeping. It's 9 o'clock there. I just got up.
Actually, my question for you guys, how many of you have already downloaded OgThat onto your device? Okay, so the first thing I'm going to ask you to do is probably, Katie Ann, while you're talking, I'm going to have them do this.
Okay.
Go ahead and download the OgThat app. It is a free app. The reason is at some point during this session, I'm going to want them to stand up and try this because us sitting here and like telling you theory and being like, oh, it's such an amazing, it's really cool. You're not going to get it until you actually see it. So I did bring a bunch of triggers with me. So you're going to get some little virtual field trips here. So go ahead and get that downloaded. And we're all really awesome students, so I'm sure we can multitask while she's talking.
I have teachers that connect with me, and they asked me to create some lessons. And one of the lessons that I created goes with my favorite book. Where are the wild things? Now raise your hand if you know the book. It's a good book. You should all know it. It is my favorite one. So let me screen share.
That moment where you get to see yourself. Mm-hmm. You are now presenting, just so you know.
Now, all of the things I'm going to show you this morning, I created with Bunsey. And Bunsey, I hear, is there at ST40. So if you really like how they look, you need to go to the session to learn how to make them. And this is being recorded. So if you should leave the conference and you don't remember what I talked about, you can go back and ask Nick to see the recording or ask me, and I will share it out. Okay, so my favorite book, Where Are the Wild Things? Or Where the Wild Things Are. I would have kids read the book first before you do this activity. And if I go fast, tell me to stop, and I'll slow down. So augmented reality can be used for reading, writing, math, science, social studies, ESL, young learners, you name it, it can be used. Using the AugVet app, there are what I call the 360. These triggers, when you scan them, are going to load to your iPad, and you will be able to walk around and look around, look up, look down via your device and see what's going on in the image. So using that story, this would be one of the activities I would do. I would have kids look for the wild thing in the picture. Okay? Does anybody have the app to their device? I'm going to say no.
What's the question? Katie Ann, can you repeat, please?
Has anybody got the app downloaded?
I think everybody has, and I actually just passed out a 360 card to everybody.
Okay.
They're all different, so everybody's somewhere different.
Yeah, well, that's fine because there's lots of wild things. Okay, so I would show these to my students, and I would have them look for the wild thing and look and experience and explore these 360 environments using the device.
All right, Katie Ann, I'm going to let them stand up because I've got some people looking around. They're like the kids with the iPads looking. So, guys, if you want to go ahead and when you're in the app, if you hit start, you're going to hold it over the top of the trigger. You're going to see, I call it pixie dust. And then if it is loading, you're going to see a red and green kind of swirly thing go on in the middle. Once you see a picture come up, my best suggestion to you is stand up because you are in a 360 environment. So when you stand up, you can look around, look all the way up to the sky, look all the way down to the ground. If you see a neighbor that has a cooler picture than you, feel free to share. If yours is not working, just let me know and I have some other triggers.
Or you can try scanning the one on the screen.
Yes, the ones that she has on the screen.
Now, if it doesn't work, you might want to check your Wi-Fi. You might want to check to see if there's a glare across the picture. And sometimes if you close the app and restart it, it fixes itself.
If you're getting kind of a blurry image also, if you tap on your screen to stabilize it, sometimes that helps. And still not working? Is it working?
Is this
what
mine?
What was the password? Capital ST.
Oh.
ST.
Does it not work with Androids?
Yeah, it should work with Androids.
It works with Android and Apple devices.
The one that she has up here, this one's really neat too. If you've already looked at yours and you want to try a different one, you can hit the back button and you can scan a different one. The one that's on the right-hand side on her screen, the underwater, the coral one is really cool too. Is anybody else having problems getting in? Oh, is it downloading yet or?
It could be that.
Oh no, what happened?
Okay, so what's
Maybe the 60 does, but
Excuse me.
Yeah.
This is what I'm getting.
Are you in the app?
Yes. No, I'm trying to, I know this happened all day yesterday.
The Wi-Fi. Are you emailing the teacher?
Right.
On that very first screen, all the way over, and you see at the top right. Okay.
So I tried, I went on.
There's a lot of people in here too, so it could be the Wi-Fi, like, freaking out.
Went to the
Yeah.
I'm gonna check to see if you've got Wi-Fi.
I just met him.
Did you do the ST?
Yeah,
but it looks like I have an app. Oh, it just opened.
Yeah.
It just did time.
Oh.
Okay.
Doesn't want me to go here.
Yeah, we were having guys, if you are unable to get connected with these, I can show you some examples afterwards, but I do want Katie Ann to be able to kind of go through the rest of her presentation. These are 360s. 360 is going to put you in an environment where you're able to look around.
The
First screen I showed were water related. The reason I do a water one is because it will connect to the STEM activity towards the end.
I was looking. All right, if you guys could do me a favor, go ahead and close out of the Ogbat app for just a second. We're gonna let Katie Ann go on with her slides here, because one of the things that teachers see, they're like, oh, this is so cool, how do I use it? And one of the big things with augmented reality is getting beyond the fact that it's a gimmick. So it's really cool to show the kids, hey, this is a neat environment, check it out. But Katie Ann has some really cool connections on how you can actually use this in your classroom. Because I know when I first saw it, I was like, great, so I can show my kids like in a park. What do I do after that? So she's going to show you how to kind of seam these into lessons that you already have. You don't want to base your lesson solely on an augmented reality trigger, but you want them to enhance your lesson. This is not something that is your lesson. It's an enhancement tool. All right, Katie Ann, it's you.
Okay, so one of the things that I would do is I would have some water ones for this book, and then other locations. So this screen has different locations that have different shapes. So I would also to look for the different shapes and how they apply to the environment. What are they used for? Because we study bridges, we study construction, in my STEM class. So you knowing that traits that other places are using, such as the aqueduct, in the picture on my right, it might be your left. We talk about these structures and different ways that they can be used. And then I also have them look for the wild things. Which is leading up to more environments. So I have them look at different environments that contain the same elements, but yet are different. And they have to find what is similar and what is different in the two environments. For example, I would give them 2 winter scenes and have them explore and tell me what they have found that is the same and what they have found that's different. So that would be the different kinds of trees that they've found. Are they aspens or are they oh, I can't think of the other names. Cottonwoods. What kind of trees do they see? What kind of structure?
Katie Ann, I want to interject here really quick.
Yes.
How many of you are from Florida? Okay, so this picture is actually one of the funniest triggers I've ever used with kids because some of them have not ever experienced snow. And it was the funniest thing, even though they know they're in a bubble and they're turning in a 360, I had some little kids, like first grade and kindergarten, they were like, oh, snow! And it was like the coolest experience for them, even though they knew it wasn't real, but they were there. They were looking around in snow, and it was just a really cool experience. If you've had an opportunity to do like Google Cardboard with the 3D experience and the virtual reality stuff, this is very, very similar. So that's one of the things that I like. The 360 experiences, what I use them for personally, I teach global studies, so there's several places that I can show them. You know, here there's someone in Paris where I can show them the Eiffel Tower and they can look around the area. If you teach science, there are some amazing like biomes, there's landforms. You know, what a better way to show the kids. You're sitting up there talking, you're like, here's a picture of a mountain. Go to the mountain. You can look around, which is great. There's a desert one. There's lots of lakes. There's underwater one. My kids were so funny. They're like, I'm scuba diving. And you can, just all kinds of cool stuff that you can do with these. The 360, I'm a little partial. That's my favorite, just because of the content area that I teach. This may not be your thing. I can see tons of connections. If you're a writing teacher, awesome prompts. Hey, you're in this environment, give them a character, give them a problem, it takes place, this is your setting. I could see that being like a writing prompt where you grab a trigger, this is where your setting takes place. Grab a character out of this bag, this is the character that's in the story. Grab a problem out of this bag. Okay, put them together and create me a story. So that could be used as a trigger for that purpose. It could be used, you know, in science, like I said, social studies, lots and lots of places that you could use these. Reading. When you're reading a story and the kids can't relate with where the setting of the story is, and I know that's a big thing. The snow thing was huge here. So if I'm reading a story to kids about, you know, being outside and it's being really cold and, you know, the feel of the snow, and they can't relate with that. So this is something that kind of levels the playing field, I guess, a little. So, all right, Katie Ann.
Okay, well, she took the words right out of my mouth.
We practice this really well.
I do that activity with my kids. I have them pick an environment and then a 3D animal, and then they write a story about that animal. Maybe that animal doesn't belong in that environment. How can it adapt, or how can it find its way? So yeah, we use all these triggers for writing prompts. Okay, so I would give them an example of the snow. Then I would give them an example of other environments. Have them compare the previous ones. What did they see different that were in the winter forest compared to the green forest? Is it on a map? Is it near water? Things like that. And I would have them explore these environments. And while they're exploring, they are writing this down in a journal. And they're still looking for the wild thing. And I make this connection with the STEM lab. once we've made the journey looking for the wild thing, then I'm going to make a boat. I had them get recycled materials, design a boat. It must have a sail. Because we are a STEM lab, it also has to hold weight. So I use galvanized flat washers. They have to hold about 5 of them. The boat that holds the most gets extra points. Plus it has a sail. Things that we use were water bottles without caps, because I didn't want to make it too easy for them. Sticks, straws, plastic bags I cut up, pieces of cardboard, string, and duct tape. So I had all my kids design boats, and they had to do a sketch and have measurements, and they had to label the parts of the boat, and the actual, the stern side, the port side, where the mast goes, and they have to give me measurements and dimensions, because it is, a STEM lab. Then we challenged the entire school. This was at the 3-year project. I ended up with 30 teams that raced their boats. Each team had 4 people. You do the math. That's how many kids got involved with augmented reality, building boats, and they didn't get a grade for it. I used the kiddie pool for the floats and the racing. I got a blow up one that was 10 feet long. And my daughter shoots again now. We saw which boat holds the most weight. Then they race their boats from one end of the pool to the other, using a straw to blow the wind to fill their sail. The kids had a blast. And it all started with augmented reality. And the kids didn't get grades. And they loved it.
This was a STEM activity, and it wasn't, the focus of it wasn't the augmented reality. That was the onset. That was how she kind of got the project rolling. The kids were kind of able to be in an environment, use that 360, and then she used it for her lesson. So this is not something where you're gonna be like, today we're gonna do augmented reality, and you're gonna do an entire day on augmented reality. It loses its luster. You don't want it to become the focus. You want it to be a tool that's gonna help you. That's the same thing. I'm always very skeptical of teachers who have like one tool in their toolkit. This is just one of the tools that you're gonna use. And the beautiful part is kids love this. Augmented reality is like magic to them. I have in my room, my posters talk in my room. So when the kids scan them, Mona Lisa talks to them. I have a big picture of Mona Lisa. And jokingly, some of the kids are like, it's like Hogwarts in here. Like pictures talk. And it's, it's a really, really cool tool. But on the same token, if you use the same tool every single day, the kids are going to be like, we're doing another augmented reality trigger. So this is one of those, if you're reading a specific story, go through and you have the 360 license, go through the environments and be like, oh, we're doing a snow story. Let's pull a snow picture. Oh, we're doing a underwater, diving story. Good luck finding one of those photos. You can, pull that picture and use that as your environment trigger. Did you have a question?
I just, the triggers are all pre-made, so you have to use whatever they have.
These are all pre-made through that, which is nice because, sometimes you just need pre-made things instead of always having to create. This is that bag of tricks that you've got. So, you don't have to go create them. I mean, I don't have the 360 camera where I can go underwater and make those pictures. So, this is kind of nice to have as your bag of tricks. And one of the things you guys, the trigger that I gave to you, that is actually, I went to Staples, I printed them. I don't laminate mine, and I know Katie Ann did, and she figured out a trick, and I'll have her explain that in a minute. I don't laminate mine because I end up with a glare. And so when I'm trying to trigger them, I get this weird glare, and it's easier for me to do this. They do not have to be printed in color. They do not have to be big. They can be itty bitty. In fact, one of your options when you download triggers is you can print them on Avery 3M labels. So you can print out labels, itty bitty ones. So I could see that being really cool, on a homework homework assignment, like putting a little label in the corner, okay, trigger this, it's a little picture and you still get the same thing. Black and white pictures, you still get the same thing. Very easy. The way that I store mine, and I think Katie Ann does the same thing, I went and made one massive file. I printed everything. I have like a stack like this big, hole punch them, reinforce them with those little weird circle things that I don't know what they really are used for, the hole reinforcers. And I used a binder ring, and they are hanging on a wall, like on the wall in my classroom. So if I need one, I pull it out and it's there readily for my use. Okay, Katie Ann, I'm done talking again.
Okay, I didn't name mine. I found some laminating pouches that were not glossy. I use those. When I can't use those, if you take sandpaper and you lightly sand over the lamination, it removes some of that glare, and it works just fine. Not only do I do it, I do creative writing because I am the science teacher and we do keyboarding skills. We have to write. So not only would I use that triggers to help me with my STEM project to get the kids excited about going somewhere to find their wild thing, I would have them write about it. So these would be the questions that I would give my students, and this is what they're using. The writing. Is there any question about this activity that I've shown you?
Looks like we're good.
Okay.
We got it.
What's my time?
It is 9:25. We have until 10, I believe. 10 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, I'm from Kansas.
The presentation platform that she's using is also kind of cool. This is Bunsy. Tomorrow I'll be doing a session on Bunsy in here. Very, very, very cool tool. If you're not familiar with it, it's a great presentation platform for teachers, but it's also great student voice and creative tool for kids to actually use. So all of these slides are done in Bunsy, which is cool.
I love Bunsy. I'm from Kansas. And we're famous for the Wizard of Oz. You could use this with that book, or with Up, or Rosie. I think she's the inventor. There's lots of travel books, children's stories related to travel. So you could do this activity with any of those. But I'm from Kansas, so I use Wizard of Oz. I'm going to show you a couple things. This is not that, but it is augmented reality, and it's one of my favorite apps. I would have kids color this. Pages, there's two airplanes. These are free. And I would have kids start thinking about where would they like to go if they could go over the rainbow. Once they kind of have some brainstorming moment, I would give them their devices and have them scan these pages with the Quiver app, and these images come to life. Whatever you put in the airplanes in that banner will appear on the augmented side, and they'll be moving. It's really cool. It's a great starter for an activity to think about where would you like to go or travel.
If you want to download any of the pictures, the app is free. The website is quivervision.com. And it's kind of interesting because one of the things that I use as a global studies teacher, there's a map, and it is such an awesome, like taking an abstract concept for the kids. It's a flat map. I have a map painted on the wall of my classroom, and the kids mimic it. So they color the different continents, different colors. They label the different continents, and then when they trigger it, it turns it into a three-dimensional globe that they can actually manipulate. But what's neat is their work, whatever they colored, whatever they wrote on the globe shows up on their manipulation. So that's really cool for the kids. And then there's also some built-in things where you can have it professionally colored as opposed to yours. They've got a really cool one with flags. You create a flag. It gets you being a very cool like team builder. And then there's also interactive pieces where it plays national anthems from different countries. So very, very cool app. That one is free. The one that she's showing you is all free. They also, if you go look for this app, there are two of them. There's a green one that is called Quiver EDU. And that is a paid app. It's like $7.99, I think, right now. And the company has said that they will keep that price the same, but everything that is educational, they throw into there. So those triggers, you only have to pay once. And they've added some very cool things. They've done moon cycles. They have done a plant cell. They've done animal cells. There's some really, really cool stuff out there. They're interactive with quizzes. Just some really cool stuff on that site as well.
So would you be better off getting one and pay for it? Is that what you're saying?
I would try the original one free. Give it a whirl and see how it works in your classroom. And again, this is a tool. This is not like an everyday thing. So it's not something that you would, bust out. There are some that are just very playful. There's one that I did at Christmas time. It was a little penguin, and you color the penguin, and he's a game. And so like you play your penguin, and he chases little snowflakes around. Educational content. I don't know. There's a Starbucks one where you create a little Starbucks, like little latte cup. I mean, you could tie in educational content. You're all very creative educators, I'm sure. So you can make anything educational. All right, Katie Ann. Oh, you have a question.
I'm sorry, what was the website?
This is quivervision.com. The company, I believe, is based out of New Zealand. They have a really cool, I'm excited, I'm teaching about Nepal this year, and they have an entire pack that they created for, there was I think an earthquake there a couple of years ago. So they have a whole thing on Nepal specifically. They've got a lot of stuff on New Zealand, so like animals that are indigenous to New Zealand. But there's lots of free stuff on that site. Okay, Katie Ann.
Like Amber said, there's lots of free stuff, but they do have some big ones. These two are paid, but they're really, really cool. I love the hot air balloon. So if you were doing the story via, you might want to use the hot air balloon. Or if you had a story that pertains to hot air balloon, or if you're studying the hot air balloon races, you might want to use this hot air balloon one. Okay, so after I had them color and they thought about where they would like to go, I would give them some 360 triggers that were from different places, such as Rome and Paris. And I would be asking them, and I would have them journal, what would your place look like? If you could go anywhere in the world, what would it look like? So I would have them explore these and see if some of these components would be in the place they would like to go. And it doesn't have to be a real place. It could be an imaginary place. And I love the 360 triggers, so that's what you're going to see a lot of.
Katie Ann, do you have examples of the 3D so that they can see them?
I can post them up.
Okay.
Okay, so as we places to go, I would ask them what would be fun. And I would still have some more 360 triggers for them to explore. And then write down some things that they would find in the place they would go. And then I would ask them, what would you do there? Once you got there, what would you do? So then I give them some 360 triggers that have different environments, that have people doing things. And then I would ask them, what would they do? And then I would go back to Quiver, to the map, and I would ask them to mark where their place would be. And they would scan this with the Quiver app, and whatever they put on this map would come to life. It would appear on the globe, And this is a great trigger because not only would the stuff that they appear on the globe, but you can also do day and night. So if the closer you get to the map, you can start seeing stars. The further away you get from the map, it becomes the daylight. You can also see how the globe looks, or you can see what the kids have put on their map. So this is one of my favorite triggers.
You can see population. So it's really cool for the kids to see like the really heavily lit areas. From a global studies perspective, it's really neat for the kids to see that, the United States is just littered with lights. So you can see like the entire outline of our country. But you go down into South America at night and you can barely see anything. You can see like Rio de Janeiro, you can see like Sao Paulo, you can see some of those big cities. But other than that, there's like pretty much nothing. Africa is almost nothing. You see Cairo and you see some of the big cities up north, but down south, it's like the continent isn't even there. So that was a big thing for my kids to be able to see. One of the things that I do want to mention, the triggers that you guys just experienced, the 360s, one of the things I love about them is their lock and load. So you trigger it, you can move around. This does not have that luxury, and I have problems with my younger learners trying to get them to experience it because my tables are too tall. So we had to stick the triggers on the chairs, and the kids had to hold their iPads over the chairs. This is something that's very hard to master as a little kid because to manipulate it, you've got to hold it over the trigger and be able to manipulate it with your hands. So a lot of times I will have partners work together. One is like the steady hand, and the other is the move, the manipulator. Because once you leave the trigger, it disappears. So this one, you have to stay on the trigger the entire time. Katie, and the same thing with the 3D, correct?
Right. You have to be over the trigger the entire time.
So the 360s give you a little flexibility. You could theoretically have, the same card and trigger it on all the kids' devices, and then every kid in the room would have it. But with some of these others, the 3D and also the Quiver Vision, they have to be over the picture the entire time.
Correct. Okay, because I am the computer science teacher, and we do typing, we would have to write. So I would have a writing project with some prompts. If you could go over the rainbow, where would you go? Where we how would you get there? Why would you go? And who would you take? So they would write about it, and that would be the part that I would grade. This is why I have them journal while they're doing the experiment, so they can go back and look at their notes. Then I would tie it to STEM. I use a lot of recycled material. So I would have my kids be engineers and design a flying machine. I've given you some resources. Places where you can go to help your kids create flying machines. I would have the kids test the machines to see which ones go the highest and the farthest. I would have my students design a plan to measure how high and how far the flying machine goes. And I use the augmented triggers to keep the kids interested and introduce flying machine. Any questions about that activity? Okay. I'm going to stop sharing my screen for just a moment. If you have questions while I load the next screen, just start shouting them out. Not all at once.
Or you can have something that'll have those things on there.
What's going to happen at the end of the session today, if you decide, Katie, and you're going to pull up 3D, or do you want me to start talking about them?
Yes, I will in just a second.
Okay. One of the things, while she's loading, I can kind of explain to you the 3D, like how I would see use for them. We do, every 9 weeks, I do a different culture study. So when we do like Brazil, there's tons and tons of animals. And it's sometimes the animals are not something that's from the United States, and so it's something they're not familiar with. So the 3D objects are really cool because the kids have the ability to trigger them, and the animal like pops up and it looks like it's sitting on their page. So that's something that's really cool. They don't do anything; they just kind of pop up. So I use them in that capacity. My school has this big thing at the end of the year, every year called Global Fiesta. And it is, it's kind of our culminating activity where each grade level does a different continent. And our passports this year were actually augmented without that. And so each continent had a different trigger that the kids were able to pull up. So South America had a little toucan. So when the kids scanned it, there's a toucan sitting on their page. When they trigger Asia, there's a little panda bear that pops up. So, you know, just something like that. The animals are a big thing that I use personally. But one of the places that I could see this, we have a very high ESOL population. And so I can see this being great for vocabulary development. You know, think about kindergarten and first grade, you have the word walls. What an awesome word wall. Have your pictures up there, the kids can go trigger them. You know, having them in a book is a lot easier. It's kind of weird when you trigger them on the wall because the animal stands up this way. But he pops up on your device. It's really funny to watch adults and kids see them pop up. One of the best places that you guys can experience this on your own, if you go to augment.com, there's a demo section. Until we get your app set up and decide what you're going to do, 3D or 360. You can go check it out. There's a giraffe one that's up right now, and it's really funny because it's really tall, so you have to move your device away to see his whole head. There's a seahorse that pops up so you can see the seahorse. And then there's also a couple of 360 experiences that you can do. There's an underwater one. I think there's a dinosaur scene that's kind of weird. So you can go see the dinosaur one. But the 3D, I think, for vocabulary development is the biggest thing. So as you're introducing something to one of your English language learners and, you know, they're not familiar with the term, you can pull up a picture and say, this is what it looks like. Because it's, you know, it's the same concept as you going to Google and pulling up a picture, but it's a lot cooler. I mean, it makes it more fun, honestly, that the picture pops up for them. So just kind of tying in that tech connection other than me constantly going to Google and look, oh, they're doing it. They're doing it, Katie Ann. That's exactly what I did. I turned my screen upside down. Okay, Katie Ann.
What I'm going to do is show you how to log in on that. And I will pull up a 3D so that you can kind of see what they look like and how to get to them. Will that work?
Yes.
Okay.
Nick wants to say hi. Oh.
Hi, Nick.
Katie Ann, we have a visitor.
Hi, Gideon.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Hang on, I was trying to get off. Okay. Now I see you.
How are you?
I'm good.
Keep teaching. Show it up. Sorry, guys.
Okay, well, I'm pulling that up again. Your badges, they're augmented. So when you scan the back, you're going to get the schedule, and you're going to get a 360 of the campus that you're on. Plus information about So I had to tell that. And I made that for
Katie Ann did this for us. It is incredibly awesome. So it's kind of tricky. This is actually the app that runs this one is Blipar. You can see on the back of the badge. So when you scan this, you're going to have the first thing that's going to pop up immediately is going to be the schedule. If you go up, once you scan it, there's an X in the corner. You can hit that. It'll pop up with 3 buttons, and you're going to see the ST14 logo. You have access to do the 360, so it's kind of cool. You can go back home and show people, hey, this is the campus I was on. And it actually looks like you're there. The other thing that you have access to, if you want to know more about presenters and, you know, where they come from and all their good information, all that stuff is on there. And then it's a great way to keep track of your schedule. It's much easier for you just to scan it on your badge instead of carrying it around. So this is, if you're trying to do this one with that, it's not going to work. This is with Blipar. It's a different app.
Okay. So can you see my screen?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. You're gonna you're going to click on it's going to ask for your surname. I'll give that to you. And then you'll log in. You know that you're logged in when your name appears in the button. Okay? Once you hover, you can go and see My Courses. And you can click on that. And it's going to tell you everything that you have access to. I have access to everything. But you're going to be limited to whatever you pick. I do believe that you're getting the 1 million triggers because we did a campaign to reach 1 million students.
No,
And then you'll get either on that 360 or the 3D. Say that again.
Can you wait just a second?
Yes.
We have lost it. We get 1 million triggers, so we're gonna clarify that. They had a campaign running through Ogdat. Their goal was to try to get augmented reality into the hands of about 1 million kids, and they actually have. They've actually gone above and beyond that, which is really cool. So we just want this to be out in the hands of kids. Using Ogdat, using Flipbar, using any of these things, so that kids get to experience this. It's amazing how many commercial places you will see augmented reality being used. I was laughing in the cereal aisle the other day. I was like, oh my gosh, Lucky Charms was augmented. So you scan the box, he like pops off the Lucky Charms guy. They have some crazy things. One of the diamond companies, you can virtually try on diamond rings now. Crazy. Our yearbook this year, my school, Katie Ann augmented our yearbook, and we actually hooked videos. So the kids were able to have a video representation of things that went on in our school. You trigger the page, you can tie in video content now. So there's lots of cool ways that they're using it. So 1 million kids, they were trying to get it into their hands, and there were special triggers that were included in that license. So you guys now already have access to that. If you want to get onto that account, your password is going to be your first name dot last name. And then, so first name dot last name, that's your username. And your password should be your last name, first initial. I'm trying to think of all my passwords that I have. So that should give you access to the 1 million. Now, when you log in, you will not have access to the 360 or the 3D yet. So when you leave today, I'm going to have this piece of paper sitting out. All I need you to do is write your first name and last name, because that's how they set up your account, your email so that they can send you confirmation, and then 360 or 3D, which one do you decide you want? If you have multiple people from your school, you may want to, I don't want to say abuse the system, but get both. That way you have access to both. So one of you take 360s, one of you take 3D, and then you have access to both of those.
That's a quick question.
Yep.
If we have an iPad cart
Yes.
and we have 30 iPads, can we use our code on each iPad?
You know, once you are in, all the kids have, you just did the exact same thing your kids would do. You log in, you download the Ogdat app, your kids you're good to go. The only thing that you're getting access to on this website are the triggers. So you're gonna print them. This is all you.
Oh,
So you print out the stuff. Yes. This is like the teacher
okay.
stuff. So you're gonna print out your triggers. You can do them as, and I think she'll probably show you. You can print them as labels, or you can print them as cards. And I have a few tricks that I use with printing because I'm cheap and I don't want to spend a ton of money. If you look, these cards are actually supposed to be dual-sided, and there's supposed to be an explanation on the back of where the location is. And I didn't want to pay for dual printing at Staples because they're not real friendly about that. So you can only choose to print. I just did the pictures. So that's completely up to you. Katie Ann, do you have additional stuff here?
I didn't hear what you said.
None of it?
Not Katie Ann.
Okay, go ahead. I think we're good. You go Hangouts are awesome.
Okay. Once you've gone to my course, your stuff will pop up. If you pick 3D, it'll say on shop 3D. Oh, I can't highlight it. If you pick 360, it'll say on shop 360. Okay, so I'm going to click on the 30. And it'll take you to this page. It says course units. You have to click on that. And then it's going to tell you everything that they have a 3D. It's broken down into categories. Tell me a category. The next one I'll click on.
We can just. You will have access to this. Yes. If you pick 3D, there are. Katie, the numbers. Is it like 1,300 or something?
Oh my goodness. Something like that.
Yeah, there's like 1,300. You're gonna get more stuff. I guess that's a good way to put it. With 3D, there's tons and tons and tons of pictures. With the 360s, there's not as many. But it's what do you see yourself using? Do you see yourself using the 3D objects? Do you see yourself using the environments where the kids are immersed in that? So, okay. We're going to show them how to print and do all that good stuff.
Okay, I'll start with the animals.
I'm going to start passing this. If you have kind of thought, hey, I want to do 3D or 360, just make sure you write neatly. You're all teachers, you know that. Because if I type your name in wrong, it's going to be awkward.
Okay, so once you're on the website, you can see up here it says Object 3D. I can see that on Animals 3D. And then you have two choices. You can print them out as a flashcard or sheet stickers, which are going to be smaller, and it will not have the description that you can print on the back. The flashcards are bigger, and you can choose to print the second page, do a dual print, and the what it is will be printed on the back. So let me show you.
The size of the flashcards are what you guys have right now. So that's the size that they print automatically. I have actually, when I do them, I will go into here and I'll screenshot them. So I'll do a little screenshot and I will make them smaller for my uses. Because I don't always need the kids to have this giant picture. Sometimes if I have something that I need to hand out to them and I just need a little trigger in the corner, you can shrink it down and make it bigger or smaller. And the triggers will work just fine.
Okay, so once you get there,
so many animals.
I went really big. Oh my goodness. Okay. So you'll see the flashcard.
I don't even know what that animal
You can print and cut them apart. Screenshot an image. If you do the screenshot, make sure that you get the border too. But there's tons up there. And you just pick what you want. And when you scan them,
the dolphin is so cute. He looks like he's jumping off the page. These are 3D, yeah. Okay, did we lose you? The weather in Kansas. Katie Ann? Yes, no. I was hoping I had maybe some 3Ds hidden in here that I could pass around.
I have a question. Somebody's here at the conference, but we plan on like sharing information. They can email you about what they want. So Danielle Hughes is here.
Yes.
So we will vote.
This one of you get Yeah, guys, even if you send the email back to Nick telling him what you want, still sign this sheet today. Just in case, because I don't know how paperwork gets translated from one place to another.
Will they have this sheet again, like at the sign-in table or something for people
I
who
can
are
move
at a session?
Yeah, I can move it around. And this session was supposed to happen like all day, both days, and it got chopped down to
Just a couple. I actually do have a couple of 3D. These are landmarks. Obviously, that's what I teach. I've got the Sydney Opera House, and I also have the Pyramids of Giza and the Sphinx. So I can kind of pass these around if you want to take a look at those. They're a little bit different. It's just kind of cool how they pop up. Did we lose her totally? So just those.
That's what we